What do you get when you combine simplified practice marketing, proven ROI strategy, and Van skate shoes? You get Mark Thackeray, of course. So lace up, grab your green smoothie, and get ready, because this is Dental Marketing Secrets. And this is Mark.
All right, you guys, welcome back to another episode of the Dental Marketing Secrets podcast, where we provide actionable tips and tricks that you can take and apply immediately to grow your practice, serve more patients, and leave a greater impact. Even now, with everything that's going on, there are still so many things that you can do to propel your practice forward. And we are going to be talking about that on today's episode. My name is Mark Thackeray, and as always, I am honored to be here with you in this very moment on this another glorious day. I look outside. It is a beautiful, almost spring day here in Salt Lake City, Utah, looking up at the Wasatch Mountains and just love it. So gorgeous. We've been spending some time up there lately, getting some backcountry snowboarding in. Tremendous. But I'm excited that you guys are here with me today. It will be worth your time. I promise you that. It will be well worth your time. I've got some great things to go over with you, and wanted to focus this particular episode on all that we can do right now during this time of uncertainty. I want to talk about what actions we can be taking right now, what lies in our control right now, okay? Because that's the biggest thing, and the most important thing to remember is that we need to put forth all of our efforts on those things that we can control, okay? Again, incredibly important to remember. Most people out there have become extremely reactive. They are simply waiting for things to change. They're hoping and praying that they will change. They're not really doing anything about it. Whereas what I'm asking you to do is to take this time to prepare, to update, to adapt or course correct or pivot, whatever you need to do for the future. Okay, and that's the topic of this episode. And it's actually centered around a framework that was provided to me by one of my mentors, Dan Sullivan, and he calls it the first 100 days. Okay, and a lot of people are asking for and really hoping that things will return back to normal. This has been a major disruption to all of us, to all the things that we've become used to, accustomed to, and people are just praying that eventually it will go back to normal. But the reality is that it simply won't go back to normal. There will inevitably be a new normal. And what the great thing is about that is that there are possibilities in that space that are completely endless. Because it's brand new, you have the opportunity to create so many different opportunities for yourself. You have an opportunity to create opportunities. How about that? But it's true. The possibilities are endless. And if you start planning now, you can begin to create something even bigger and better in the future, using all the skills, all the knowledge, all the experience that you've accumulated through this scary period to propel yourself forward. Okay? And this exercise that we're going to do, this first 100 days exercise, is going to allow you to hit the ground running while the rest of your competition is still trying to figure out what the heck they are going to do. Okay? So essentially, as we get into this, there are three major components to this first 100 days exercise, okay? And really what it is it's a mindset, okay? And there's three different sections, like I mentioned, that starts with morale, okay? And then it goes on to momentum and finishes with motivation. And each of these sections represent something different. So the first one we're going to talk about is morale, and that is focusing on what you've done in the past. Okay, and then momentum, the next section is focusing on what is currently working for you right now. Okay, what are the assets that you have access to? And then the last section, motivation, talks about what opportunities have now become available to you because of the dramatic changes in the marketplace. So let's start with morale. I'm going to ask you to get a piece of paper, grab a pen or a pencil if you're one of those type of people. Totally fine, no judgment. Except you're a weirdo. No, I'm just kidding. But I want you to work through this exercise with me, okay? So I want you to start by writing the word morale, and then underneath it, we're going to list out all of the accomplishments, all of your achievements, all the progress that you've made in the past that has prepared you for being at your best right now during this scary period. Okay, so we're going to list out, take some time to identify. We're going to ask you to deep dive into the annals of your personal history and start listing out those accomplishments that stand out to you. And this is not a time to be modest. This is not a time to worry about what you put on there. I just want you to write out all the things that come to mind, okay? And these could be things like finishing school. It could be like opening up your practice doors for the first time, or serving X amount of patients, or meeting and exceeding production revenue benchmarks. It could be adding or expanding your practice. It could be something like weathering a previous economic downturn in the past. Include any and all of your accomplishments and progress. And it's funny, on a personal note, this is something that my wife and I do with our kids. We've created what we call accomplishment journals, and we encourage our kids to include an entry for all of the things that they've accomplished in the past. So it could be an athletic achievement, it could be a family accomplishment or business success, anything between, okay? Anything that you can hang your hat on, something that you are proud of. And it is a wonderful visual reminder to really to help you realize and remember how capable you are, how talented you are, and how handsome you are. Okay, maybe not that. That's my dream. But it really is a striking reminder of the things that you've been able to accomplish, how far you've come. And I've got mine on my desk right now. It is a black 3-ring binder. I've printed out accomplishment journal on the front for easy labeling and access. But you flip it open, right? And you've got those sleeve protectors. You've got those clear plastic sleeves. And inside of each sleeve, I have a journal entry. And it's very basic, you guys. It doesn't take very much time, but it's essentially just a little brief description of what I accomplished, and then the dates. And I've started to include pictures as well, because I want to remember it visually in my head. But it's got, as I flip through these pages, I've got something as simple as keeping a journal for 30 days in a row. That was a big deal to me, just getting on the horse of journal writing. I've got the day I launched my first podcast. Okay, so that was my first episode, September 26th, 2019. Super stoked on that, because I remember how difficult it was, all the mind games that go on when you're thinking of trying something new. Is this good enough? Am I ready? Is this really the right approach? You're constantly checking yourself, questioning yourself, and just doing it is the best thing you could do, right? So that's in there. I've got becoming a dad for the first time, becoming a dad for the second, third, and fourth time, becoming a dad of all girls. I have this one, May 7th, 2011, you guys. That is almost 9 years ago, down in southern Utah in St. George. I became an Ironman. Isn't that cool? I've got a picture. I've got an ugly handlebar mustache that I was sporting for the day to hopefully keep my senses up, hopefully keep me not too serious. And it worked for a little while. But that was a beast, 2.4 mile swim, 112 mile bike ride after that, and finishing that up with a 26.2 mile run, all in one day, 13 hours. Crazy, but so cool. I have pictures from when I served a 2-year mission in Italy, learning a language. I have talking, my daughter with cancer, dealing with that. I have organizing and carrying out a community fitness challenge here in Utah for 2 years. I'm not an event specialist or anything like that, or an organizer. My wife would totally tell you that I am not a great organizer in and of myself, but this was something that I did with my brother. Super proud of that. We helped a number of people transform their lives, and so cool. Photography business. I've talked about that before in the podcast, growing a photography business, and so many other accomplishments, you guys. It is neat. Like I said, it's just a visual reminder of how capable I really am. And that's what this section of this exercise is all about. Whether you do an accomplishment journal or whether you just take a few minutes right now to list out all of your past accomplishments, things that you're proud of, it can help jumpstart you and put you in the right mindset. And that is truly the biggest takeaway from this podcast, is to understand that the direction of your mindset, well, let me put it this way. Wherever your mindset is, the direction you're facing with your mindset is where you're going to be going, and that sounds very basic, and it really is, but most of us aren't taking the time to think about that. Okay. We're allowing these thoughts to enter into our mind. Like we're helpless. We're playing the victim. Why can't these circumstances change? I can't wait for the future when it comes back to normal. That's a state of helplessness. Okay. And then that mindset will take you nowhere good. And so it's important to remember that so you can check yourself and check the direction that your mindset is directing you to. Okay, and that's really what this first section is all about, like I said. So if you haven't done that yet, please take the time, pause this episode if you need to, grab your pen, and start to list out what some of those accomplishments are under the morale section. Okay. And then next, we're going to move on to the momentum section. Once you've done that, again, pause and stop and do this. I plead with you to do this right now because it's so much easier when you're in the moment and things are working and moving for you. And as you start listing things out, more will come to your mind and you're going to want to add to that list later on. But this will get you started. Okay, so if you've done that, it's okay to resume and we're moving on to the momentum section. Okay, here in this section, we're focusing on everything that's working for you right now. You might be thinking to yourself that this is going to be a short list. Mark, I can think of two things, but I challenge you to identify all of your resources, all of your capabilities, all of your relationships that are already moving you forward or that can help you move forward in the future. Okay. You might be listing out the basics such as I'm healthy, my family's healthy, or the relationships that have been reinforced or strengthened because you've kind of been forced to spend more time together. That's something that I look on with my girls and my wife. And, there's times where I didn't use that wisely, but there've been some tremendously poignant times that we've had, these memories that we've had because we've been here together. And I've seen the relationship between my girls improve because they've spent this time together as a family. They're not going out to hang out with friends or anything like that. It's just, it really has been a tremendous blessing in our lives. So list out all those things, okay, whether it's relationships, capabilities, maybe it's something like improved focus or clarity around your end goals. Okay, have you shifted what it is that you want in the end because of what's happened here with COVID-19? Or you could be thinking about how you have something simple too, where you've been forced to dramatically improve your virtual communications, your abilities to communicate virtually with your patients, or it could be even just that you've increased your virtual connections. Those can be very basic, but they can also be very powerful when you look at applying those moving forward to your practice. Okay. So, and another one too that comes to mind is, have you taken time to refine some of your systems, to modify or adjust some of your processes? And that could allow you to maybe better serve your patients in the future through improved efficiency. It could be granting more direct access to care, or perhaps maybe and this is a big one that I see a lot now is you've forged relationships with potential strategic partners that can help you moving forward. I've seen a lot of businesses inside the industry, outside the industry that have come together because of this shared experience that they're all going through, and that can make tremendous a strategic partner moving forward where you can cross promote, and it can be a boon to both sides and both client bases, to be totally frank. And that's what's so cool. Are you looking at this with the right mindset? Do you have your eyes open to these opportunities? So that's momentum. Excuse me. If you haven't written this down, if you're just leaving, and if you're driving, of course, don't be writing while you're driving. I've tried that before. It is not smart, not wise. And please don't do that. Do not endanger yourself or anyone else out there. But do take the time. Please, if you can and are in a position, please pause this and take the time to write under momentum all those opportunities, all those resources, all those capabilities, all those assets that you have that are right now, what's working for you right now that can help you move forward with your practice. Okay, and once you've done that, we come to the third section, which is motivation. Now, this section is designed really to start building excitement for what lies ahead. You are looking forward to new opportunities that are now becoming available because of significant changes that have just occurred. Okay. And if you take a bird's eye view of each of these three sections, you're looking at the past, you're looking at the present, and then you're looking at the future. Okay. And you are, let me grab my sheet here, but you're looking also, so the first section was to really instill confidence and remind you how capable you are. And I've said that many times on this episode already, but it's so imperative that you remember that and you believe in that. And that's what this exercise is designed to do, is to prove to yourself that you've been here before. A lot of people saying, well, this is different. I've never been through something like this. And that's simply not true. You've been through difficult circumstances before. All of us have gone through this same type of situation before. It might have had a different name. It might have been in a different, professional setting, or it could have been a personal setting, whatever it is. We have been here before, you guys. So that section really is to remind ourselves and burn into our brains how capable we are and all that we've done in the past that has prepared us for this moment. The next section, momentum, is to build confidence and really to prime the pump, so to speak, to get those wheels turning and get things moving, to have listing out, being in the proper mindset of identifying all those things that we have available right now at our disposal to propel us forward in the future. Okay, in this last section, motivation, we get to the future. We talk about, we list out different things that we can do that have just become available to us because of these circumstances. These are opportunities that would not be manifesting themselves right now if it weren't for this crazy pandemic. Okay, this is to build excitement for a bigger and better future. So, what are these opportunities for you and your practice? What are these new opportunities that have suddenly materialized because of all these recent changes? Have you, just off the top of my head, have you finally been able to start incorporating virtual care or some type of virtual assistance to your patients? Okay, something simple as that. What type of effect is that going to have on your practice now? Now that you've been able to figure that out, now that you've been able to implement that, what type of long-term effect will that have on your patients, on your practice, on your team members? So you think of it, let's say many practices out there have been forced to do this. Okay, they've been really forced into this situation to learn, whether they're doing it through, I'm not going to go into the different software, but it doesn't matter where they're doing it. They really have this situation has mandated that they learn how to do this. Okay, they learn the ins and outs. They learn how to connect. They learn how to share the message. And normally, if under normal circumstances, this would have probably taken them 3 to 5 years to start implementing this if the pandemic didn't happen. If they were to just do it on their own, it would have taken them at least 3 to 5 years to implement something like this. And now they have it all done. It's not perfect, but they have it to the point where they can use it moving forward. That is a tremendous asset. Think about that, you guys. Think about in-office visits. In the future, with the addition of all this virtual communication, your in-office visits can now be completely supported virtually. Okay, and think about that. I mean, whether it's before, you take that even before coming in, before their appointment, sending them some type of virtual communication where you can establish yourself, whether it's a new patient or it's just a returning patient, but they're coming in for a specific type of treatment. You can already help address some of their concerns, their fears, and build more trust that way. That is extremely powerful. And you can do that on the back end just as well, where you are answering questions. You could follow up and say, Jessica, thank you so much for coming in. It was great to see you and discuss some of the needs that you have right now. I got the sense that you were a little hesitant on going forward with the dental implant, and I totally understand that. And here's a few things I want you to remember. And then you can go into an educational piece where you help her understand, you help your patient understand the consequences of taking path A or path B. I get what you're feeling. Here are some things to think about. And this is what's likely going to result if you choose to move forward with treatment. Here's what's likely going to happen if you don't. And again, this isn't guaranteed either way, but based on my experience, my recommendation is to move forward because of these reasons. And that is extremely, extremely powerful, you guys. So think about it in those terms. Again, take the time if you haven't yet. If you haven't paused this, now is a great time to pause this episode, grab your pen, and start to identify those opportunities that have just blossomed because of everything that's gone on with this pandemic. Is it virtual assistance? Is it virtual care? Is it virtual communication? Is it, again, like I talked about before, it could be greater clarity on the future, on your practice goals, on your end goals. Like all those things can come into play. But take the time, a couple of minutes to do this and start wrapping your head around what those opportunities are. Okay. And once you've done that, we can move on to the final section. And this is the action plan for the first 100 days. Okay, the final portion of this whole exercise is to now identify 5 goals that you will accomplish in the first 100 days from when the new normal starts. New normal in quotations. Okay, so these are projects that will move the needle for your practice. I'm not talking about the small details that, I should have done this, or I'd like to do this because it's a personal preference. No, these are levers that can dramatically accelerate your practice if properly deployed. These are things these could be game changers for your practice. For example, what if and we talked about this in the last section for a little bit, what if you were to continue your virtual communication with your patients? And let's just say you can do that before an in-office visit or after an in-office visit. It could be a checkup. But what if, let's say, you did a live Q&A discussion where anyone can hop on? It's open to patients, it's open to non-patients, it's open to pets, it's open to plants, whoever. It could be open to the entire community, where you hop on and just start fielding questions. People can ask anything. There's no wrong question, and you can talk about it. You can address it. Talk about rapport, talk about relationship, talk about trust, talk about positioning. That is tremendous. Who else is doing that? I mean, you would be the talk of the town. And what's so cool also with that is that now you have the opportunity to market in a truly different way. I mean, you are differentiating yourself and your practice significantly now, because instead of posting up or pushing out some type of sales-driven message, now it's offering them the chance to ask a question. Hey, ask your dentist anything. Ask me anything. I'm here to help. I know people have questions. All I want to do is help educate so that people can make the best decision possible. That is so powerful, you guys. Think if you took that and you went to the chambers that you're a part of, a chamber of commerce, let's say, in your area, or you went to different businesses that could potentially partner in with this, where they could promote this message for you and just say, oh, no way, there's a dentist down the road, Dr. Johnson, she's going to hop on a live Q&A and she'll answer any question that you have about dentistry. And that's so cool. That is what an easy way to build relationships, build connections, build authority, and position yourself as a patient advocate. So cool. So what else? Again, think about those actions that you can take that will really drive your practice forward. I want you to list 5 of those and put those down. Again, these are five goals, five projects that you're going to accomplish within the first 100 days of being back to normal. And again, back to normal being new normal being in quotation marks, because we don't know exactly what that's going to look like, but it's my definition would be as soon as they start lifting some of these bans, non-essential treatment, that sort of thing, then that's when the clock starts ticking. So take the time to think about this. What are those things that are going to drive your practice forward? What are those things that I can be doing right now? We mentioned a couple of different things: virtual communication, live Q&A, video, educational videos. You could be putting together all sorts of campaigns right now that you could have at your disposal to fire off once things start opening back up again. I mean, you will be so far ahead of everyone else. that it's astounding. So that's really the gist of everything that I'm trying to tell you. And I want to end this. And if you have not taken the time to write these things down, please go back, listen to this again, press pause after the introduction of each section, and take the time to write it out. Honestly, if you're not doing it, you're doing a disservice to yourself, to your practice, and to your patients, to be quite frank. And if I'm not doing it, the same thing applies to all of us, you guys. It is extremely important to take the time to do this right now while you can, okay? Because we know once things get back going, you're just not going to have time. Plain and simple, that's the reality. So take the time now, and you will be the better off for it. So I'm going to end by reminding you that you are built for this, okay? Remember that. You already possess all the answers you need in order to move forward and find success. You've been through this before. You know deep down what you need to do. Yes, it may take time and effort, and it's going to take there's going to be some pains. That's what I'm trying to say. There's going to be some challenging points to this, but you know what you need to do. And you've been through this before, and you've come out on top, and you're going to do it again. Please, please remember that. I feel like I should say I love you or something like that. But it's so important, you guys. There's so many people that are dragging their feet, that are just scared stiff. They are paralyzed by fear. They're playing the victim, whether they know it or not. And it's really sad. It really is. And it's depriving a lot of us. It's becoming a huge obstacle for a lot of us. It's not it's because we have that choice, but it's becoming a huge obstacle for a lot of us. We could be moving forward or being readying ourselves to move forward more quickly if we would take the time to work through exercises like this. Before I sign off, you guys, that's what I got for you today. But before I sign off, I wanted to let you know that right now I am offering the chance to help you brainstorm and strategize ways to kickstart your practice after the new normal has arrived. Okay, so if you are one of those people that is not going to wallow in self-pity and is eager to gear themselves up for the future, then contact me. Let's schedule a strategy call. It's no cost. It's just a chance really to help brainstorm and share my recommendations on how to best prepare for the future. And so if you're interested, I would love to hear from you. Simply go to our website, dentalmarketingsecretspodcast.com/contact, and you will find a form on there. Simply fill out that form and click submit. And that's it. I will reach out to you and we'll schedule a time that works for both of us. It'll be, it won't take very long, 20 to 30 minutes is all, but guys, these are always so cool because once two minds get going, the possibilities are endless and it just steamrolls. It has such a powerful effect when you get a couple of people together and they start to come ready to share. That mindset is so powerful. So I'd love to do that with you. Again, just go to dentalmarketingsecretspodcast.com/contact, fill out the form, and we'll be in touch. And thank you so much for listening, you guys, and make it a fantastic week. We'll talk to you soon.
Did you enjoy this episode of the Dental Marketing Secrets Podcast? Head on over to iTunes to subscribe, rate, and leave a review. And for more proven marketing strategies to grow your practice, visit practicerocket.net.